Hi. I'm so glad you're here, and thank you for being excited. I'm very excited too. So, yeah, it's gonna be another fave tonight. Let's just wait around a little bit, see if anyone else wants to drop in. Hello. Welcome. It's good to see everyone. I hope you've been having a good evening, good morning, afternoon. Is anyone from the middle zones here? Hang on, let me just close the door real quick. I have missed being here so much, you guys. Make sure you have a drink. I already have my bottle of water here. No more coffee for tonight though, since I've already had like 3 cups this morning. Notes. Slideshow is still not up. Whoopsie. Just fix that real quick. You had tea a while ago. Oh, nice. What kind of tea was it? Celebrate the stream. I am running the event with Nikkari in my party. Hell yeah! Let him get some fresh beach air. Let's go. Okay, so it's 10 o'clock here on my side now, but I'll wait a little bit more. Just to give everyone a chance, since I know this is a weird, it's kind of early for everyone in the West. And honestly, I was thinking of like starting later, so like it's easier for you guys to catch up, but it's also like I might get way too sleepy. I'm old and tired now. I'm starting at 10 p.m. right now, so starting at 11 might be too much for me. Hi, Kaze. We've rolled in here now. Earl Grey, nice. That's actually one of the few teas that I enjoy drinking, because I really am just more of a coffee person. It's that or barley tea. I had barley tea with the ramen once, and like, oh, so good. We'll start at maybe 10:03. So settle in, make sure you've got, I don't know, if it's hot, get something cool, turn on the fans, open a window. If it's cold, get a blanket or something, or a plushie or a pet to snuggle with. And I'm just gonna check if I've like posted on my social media about being live. Like, I've missed this so much. Like, I think it's funny because I actually kind of crammed the PowerPoint earlier today because I've just been so busy. But every time I'm in the office, I'm like, it's almost Saturday. I can talk with everyone again. But here we are. We finally made it. Alright, that's good. Okay, let me just drop that in a Discord real quick. I don't have a personal, like, I mean, like, as a server for myself. I'm just kind of jumping in with other people's servers and plug posting. It is 10:02. We're almost starting. Thankfully, it's also quite quiet tonight on my end, because my neighborhood's usually quite noisy. I mean, most times my mic doesn't pick it up, but they get so loud I get distracted anyway. Okay, it's 10:03. So, hello everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon if someone's in the middle. I'm the creature that's neither here nor there, Kh'nvinien. We are starting today with a discussion on Nikkari Aoe. Let's switch over. And where am I? I have disappeared. Hello. Hello. Oh no. It won't show me. Let me in. Where am I? It's dark, guys. There we are. There we are. Here I am. You no, you don't. You don't see anything. You don't see a color. No, you don't. I just started. It's immediate scuff. My God. Shh, shh. You didn't see that. Anyway, so Nikkari. He's green, slightly slimy, and has homophobia in his eyes, and I love him very, very much. So we're here to talk about why. And hopefully, after this stream, you might like him a lot better too. I mean, if you guys don't already like him in the first place anyway. Let's switch over. Okay, as usual, quick reminders. I mean, you guys already know how this goes. Participate in chat. Talk with me, talk with everyone else in there. If someone asks a question and you know the answer, and if I miss it, or like just take a while just because YouTube's latency is weird. Like, I have it set on ultra low now, but I might still like take a while to see it. Who knows? And as usual, keep the chat family friendly. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to be not family friendly with Nikkari. Maybe. But yeah, we'd like to keep this archived if possible. Next. Okay. So, there's our boy. Our green Wakizashi boy. He is number 19 in the sword book. He is from the Aoe school, illustrated by Beko and voiced by Junji Majima. 167 centimeters tall, and he was forged in 1207 by Aoe Sadatsugu in the Kamakura period, which makes him a Ko-Aoe or an early Aoe. Which, okay, little tangent. He and Juzumaru are Ko-Aoe, while Taro, which I never shut up about this, but I don't know, it's just a really cool tidbit, and I wish Tokenanbu did more with it. Taro, the other Aoe that isn't officially an Aoe in game, is a Suwe no Aoe, which makes him a late Aoe. And their gap is about 100 years, which is kind of funny. He's actually, like, between him and Jiro, he's considered the first or the older brother. Whoops. But with the Aoe, he's actually the youngest. Why is my... Oh, there we go. So, he is currently under the possession of Marugame City in their municipal archives in the Kagawa prefecture. And I cannot see... Nikkari is 5'7". I don't know what to do with this information. I don't know either. Like, did you think he was shorter or like taller? Like, I'm just short, so like anything that's past 5'4" is like, wow, a dreamboat. Taro is actually 50 years younger than you. Really? Oh, that's something we have to get into at some other time. Anyway, so as usual with our format, we are starting at the basics with like the actual sword itself, like his body specs, if you may. The blade was named after an anecdote of it being used to cut down a grinning Nikkari apparition, and upon checking the next morning, the only evidence of the encounter are cut stone lanterns. Todanoki is 5'5". Yeah, he is. And actually, it's interesting because like the impression of like Nikkari surprisingly being taller than he seems, I'll come back to that later. There's several versions of the story about his name. Some sources say there's more than 3, but the main 3 ones I've been seeing like thrown around are from the Kyohomei Butsucho, Jozan Kidan, and the Kyogokuke. Though Tokonanbu mostly just follows the first one for their interpretation. I'm not sure if it comes in the slide after this. Let's check. Okay, so as I said, Tokonanbu follows the one from Kyohomei Butsucho, which is Nakajima Shuri Daiju, lord of Omi province at the time, though some sources say it was actually his brother Kuri Daiju, heard of a demon in Hachiman's mountains and set off to exterminate it, taking his sharpest Aoe blade with him. While traveling through the mountains in the evening, he encounters a strange woman and her baby. She wore an eerie smile on her face, which made Shuri Daiju very wary of her. So it's like, you know, just you're out, or a man on a mission, out at night, then suddenly you find like a weird lady with her baby just standing there by herself, like that's just sus. I can't blame him for that. And let's next slide. She approached him, asking the Lord to hold both of them. In some retellings, it's actually a lot creepier. They're like, first she sets down her baby, like to let the baby crawl after the Lord, like Shuridayu. Oops. And oops. And then she was like, please hold him, or like it's certain creepier in most retellings, like, please, come hold us. Then she starts walking after the baby as well. Just, totally normal things to see on a mountain stroll. This made him draw his blade and slash at both of them, the woman and her baby disappearing immediately. Checking back in that spot in the morning, he only found 2 stone lanterns cut in half. Because of this, he concluded that the woman and her baby was probably the demon stalking the place, and he just called it a night, like, yep, I did my job. Such a great lord. Hell yeah. I would have simply have flirted with the creepy mysterious lady ripped to Shuridayu, but I'm different. I mean, as we've seen with Nikkari's Kiwame, the lady do be a looker though. Like, probably same, honestly. Okay. Enough monster adoration this early on in the stream. Let's save that for later. So, presently, Nikkari is at 60 centimeters, and he was originally at 75. By more modern standards, this would make him more of the length of Tachi, but back then, things were different, and 75 cm was enough to be classified as an Udachi, which is funny, because we know a certain other Udachi that's in-game who is also around 75 centimeters, who also happens to give Nikkari some shit. Ishii Kirimaru's about that size. He's probably just a Tachi too. Anyway, he was shortened with Suriyage, tang shortening, which unfortunately meant that some of the inscription he had on that spot was cut off, so now it's just Hashiba Gorozaimon no Jaga no Jo Naga. It's said that this probably says Nagashige, and there was also like some theories that this wasn't a practical shortening. Like, apparently there's rumors it was cut off in relation to Nagashige himself, but that isn't really corroborated in a lot of other sources. It's just hearsay, but it's fascinating to think about. Which, in a way, you kind of see that line of thought happening, especially with Muramasa blades. Their signatures tend to be defaced, and some counterfeits are made by changing the signature. So, lots of stuff to consider. Let's go next. Actually, wait, let me just check my notes real quick. No, we're good. We're good with this spot. Okay, so one of the interesting things about Nikkari is that his Koshirai is actually quite significant, and it exists at present, because even though this doesn't appear exactly as it does in-game, there is a lot of, like, inspiration taken from this one. I'll read this description first, and I'll pull up the extra pictures I had that I forgot to hide earlier. So, the Koshirai, or scabbard, that Nikkari is displayed with is said to have been made by Toyotomi Hideyoshi's orders through Honami Kotoku, a sword appraiser approved by Hideyoshi himself, and it was created by Umetada Jusai. Umetada Jusai is pretty much a famed artisan and sword polisher at the time, who in quick passing is mentioned to have also worked on Ishida Masamune as well. So that's something. They kind of have like I guess in person terminology, they would have gone to the same salon almost. There's supposedly 2 copies of the Koshirai because Toyotomi was particularly fond of it. But there's another one of those things that I can't really quite corroborate. Like, it's only mentioned once, and there's only one scabbard at the museum, so there's no way to confirm this. Like, maybe it was destroyed at some point and this was a spare, or that was never just a thing. But it is fascinating, and I wouldn't blame Hideyoshi for having 2 of this made, because look at that. That's gorgeous. Like, that's so detailed, and it's interesting because the color actually resembles Mikazuki's actual real-life scabbard. I'll show it in color later. The blade's mountings are decorated primarily with paluonia, Yotsume Yui. That's a 4-diamond crest. That's what it's called, Yotsume Yui, and gold lacquer. The tsuba is an oegata or hollyhock-shaped piece, and then the wrappings for him are described specifically to be Chiara Iro, a specific type of brown, which is what was flashed on the screen earlier because I'm a bit dum-dum, and arranged in the Hiramaki style. Okay, I'll stop here real quick, pull up my notes and the extra pictures because there's a lot to go through on here. Okay, this is the where are we? This is the shade of brown that it's supposed to be. And where is... Okay, so about the handle wrapping, this one on screen right now is Hinerimaki. This is one of the more common and more modern ones, which I'm sure you guys are more familiar with. Like, if you look closely, the middle part is pinched together, and it creates a more raised surface compared to the Hiramaki, which, as you can see here, the cloth pieces lay flat where they intersect, so it's a more smooth texture when you hold it, but it still provides additional grip naman. So it's an older style, and it's also more commonly found on tachi, which is, it matches up with how they did consider Nikkari to be a tachi or even an odachi in his time. Which, again, going back to it, since he was considered actually a big boy, not just a wakizashi, it kind of goes with why he's actually taller than you might expect, or even more mature looking in comparison to most of the other wakizashi. It's a neat little detail that you would spot whenever you do research on the boys, and then you're like, oh, that's based on fact. That's pretty cool. As usual, I fall in love with Token Ranbo's research and design every day. So, what's my next one? Here we have color pictures of Nikkari. This is his actual mounting in the museum. So it's mostly brown with like gold lacquer all over it. And here is the naked blade. So beautifully polished still, even today. A close-up on his tang with the gold inlaid inscription, which I think the inscription was made by Honami himself as well, because the Honami clan just kind of does a lot of that. I don't know if it would have been the specific ones for like Koana, and I think Matsui might have it too. But yeah, a lot of boys with gold inscriptions, they tend to be done by the Honami family because they are like reputed sword appraisers of their time. I always did wonder why he was so different compared to the other Wakis, so it is really neat to learn. Right. Like, if you see we all know that the swords aren't exactly characters you could judge by looks alone. So by appearance, like the Wakizashi would probably be like late teens, young adults, but like Nikkari seems a bit past that, like just a little bit. So it's very cool. Tries not to drool on the museum. No, that's why they barely bring them out. Because we'll just lick them all the time. Oh, okay, so this one's for later. I'll put it away. There we go. So yeah. Despite him being called a wakizashi, his mountings are meant for tachi, for big boys. Which is very cool, and it's so fancy. And, okay. So, notable wielders and current whereabouts. Nikkari's ownership changed from Nakajima Shuedairyu, or his brother Kuridairyu, to Shibata Katsuie, then to his son Katsutoshi. Katsutoshi lost to Niwa Nagahide, Toyotomi's follower in the Battle of Shizuoka Gatake. Nikkari was taken as the prize, or some of the prizes. I didn't check if there was anything else of note that they took, but yeah, Nikkari was taken there and was presented as a gift to Toyotomi Hideyoshi, who, after like enjoying owning Nikkari for a while and even like getting mountings made for it, gave the sword to Kyogoku Takatsugu, where Nikkari was taken care of by the family for 7 generations. Next. In 1940, Nikkari Aoe was labeled as Japan's important artistic item, or Juyo Bitsutsu Hin. After World War II, Nikkari Aoe was bought by Marugame City from the Kyogoku clan. At the same time, the Tokyo National Museum classified Nikkari Aoe as a wakizashi, supposedly an o-wakizashi, so even by wakizashi standards, he was just very long. And some sources also call him a kodachi, but like it's kind of blurry, like what the definitions of a kodachi were, and like since we don't, it's not the most relevant terminology to us so far. That's why I haven't looked much into it. But basically, wakizashi, kodachi, long wakizashi, in between waki and conventional uchigatana. Let's go with that. Currently, the blade and the koshirai are both kept at Marugame City Museum, but he is not a permanent exhibit, and even the museum itself knows that people will flock to their place to see him. Actually, if you search Marugame City Nikkari Aoe, there's a lot of articles saying that, as usual, Token Ranbu boosted their popularity as a tourist destination. So, once again, Token Joshi coming in clutch with museum support. Like, they literally have a section for him that says, we have this sword, but we don't always have him out all the time. So just to make sure that when you're visiting, he'll be there, please check our current schedules or like message them. you have to set an appointment with Nikkari. He's so high profile. And am I missing something in this section? Not quite. Okay, good. That's good. And we're already at the part where we talk about his portrayal in the franchise. Nikkari is fairly quiet and calm. Like his lines are very subtle and like quiet. There's a bit of a lilt to them, as if he's teasing, but he doesn't necessarily yell, or like you don't, if he ever gets annoyed, you don't really hear it right away. So it's complemented by his somewhat unnerving smile. Like his smile like just looks like he knows something, which could throw people off. Like that's a thing, because especially with people that keep secrets, everyone has their secrets, and to see someone smile at you like that, like they know something about you, throws you off. But if you can look past his seemingly dangerous vibes, he's very loyal to the Saniwa. He's unquestioning of what they ask him to do, and even has like a curious streak to him. He has a bunch of lines where he's like, oh, so this is what it's like? Has it always been like this? Or him like musing about, isn't it better to do it another way, especially with like internal affairs. So even in the musical adaptation, he has this sort of like curiosity to him that I've noticed, where he thinks a lot about how it was like to hold a baby in his hands, since if you think about it, before that, the only contact he had with a baby was when he supposedly cut down that ghost. So quite the contrast. Appointment or date? Final date with Nikkari. I'd like that, please. Yeah, let's go on a group date with Nikkari. Like I would genuinely want to sit down with him, like as a person to just chat with. He seems like he'd have such an interesting perspective, a lot of things to say. So Nikkari, call us back, please. We would very much like to have a little chit chat with you. Like I said before, I would describe him to be loyal to the Senio, his current master, even if it's more of a subdued way compared to certain other swords in the Citadel. Like, we have a lot of clingy swords, like maybe Kashu, Kasen, Hasebe, Tomoe, and the vassal types like Tonbo. So like it's very easy to see that they are devoted to you. I mean, like, most of the swords kind of take that direction as after they go on their Kiwame journey, but for Nikkari, he's one of the guys who's always had it in him. He's always been like that. It's undeniable that he respects the Seniwa's wishes and would like to play a part in seeing them realized, whether it's in battle or offering to keep them company during more mundane activities. So let's pull up my extra pictures. I think he would make a very good pillow. I can see that. Actually, like, somehow, yeah. Now we're just thinking about, like, we're We're just thinking of snuggling up with Nikkari now, are we? Anyway, pull this up. Here is some of his special lines as in his normal form, where it's the welcome back greeting and the New Year's greeting. It's got this. It's more casual than it's not much to note for now. Like, he's just like polite and saying like he tried to hold down the fort, but there wasn't much to do since there weren't any ghosts for him to cut down, and he was curious how you would spend your New Year's, like respectfully asking. But if we move on to the Kiwami versions, would he keep me company while playing videos? I'm pretty sure he would. Like, he would be just happy to sit there, I think. And here is the same, well, not the same lines, or rather the lines for the same situation but as a Kiwami boy. He is here he's still not mad that you kind of left him alone for a little bit, but he did want to know how things were, if there was something that if you took him with you he would have been able to help. Yeah, he would definitely be invested in the video game story. I think he likes stories just as much as like the other guys like Sengo and Tomoe. Like, it's just a nice way to pass the time. And in his New Year's greeting as a Kiwami sword, he just straight up asks you like, what do you want to do? Like, do you want me to come with you? Spending the holiday at home, or will you be outside? It's interesting. Like, he's still pretty casual, but there's this air of he's taking a bit more initiative to be with you and like ask you what you want to do. Being all around a supportive guy. Where this? Whoa, there's supposed to be another picture here. I don't know why it's not showing up. Hello. Oh no, what is going on? Why isn't it showing up? Oh no. Let me take the moment to check what's wrong here. I know it's a directory. It's in the folder. I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, okay. Hang on. My bad. Let me just... I accidentally named one wrong, so now the slideshow is all confused. Let's see if that fixes it. It did not. But why? Dang it. Let me see if I could pull it up another way. I'll just have to pull up that picture manually, which sucks because I prepped it and it's not working. There we go. Here we go. So this one, these are his like anniversary lines, like for the game, not for the Sanyo ones. I didn't want to spoil those, and these are like more interesting to me anyway. He'd be really good at noticing subtle things like hidden quest markers. Oh yeah, like he's just like that type of observant where he's like watching your back for you. Wait, I'm covered up by the picture. I want you guys to see me. There we go. Nikkari playing Phasmophobia and scaring anyone. Oh god, he would be like simultaneously the best and worst type of person to play those types of games with, like Phasmophobia, I guess Dead by Daylight in a way, IDV if you guys play those. Like, you know he'd really get into it, but you probably wouldn't want to play against him because he'd be so coy and mischievous the entire time. But it would make for a great time if, as long as you're not short-fused, I guess. Okay, so here you can see how he's really showing that he enjoys the time he spends with you. This is the normal forms lines, by the way. He's praising you for making it this far, saying it's a milestone, something to be proud of. And let's take a look at like the 8th anniversary line. Like, he just muses about how nice it is. Let's make it nice and big so you guys can see right here. Like, you can tell that it matters to him a lot that he is able to stay with you for that long, especially since he's quite attached to the Kyogoku family who kept him for 7 generations. That's a really long time to be with someone. So I guess you could say he's actually quite sentimental, despite him cracking innuendo type things almost all the time and such. And let's go with his it won't switch. Let's go with the Kiwame versions next. Let's pull this up. It's still slightly the same. Like, there's just a bit more nuance, or like there's a bit of variation, more depth to the way he says things. Here, he says a lot more in the 8th anniversary. He doesn't just say it's really nice in a wistful way. He actively says he wants to do more of that. He wants to keep going. He's like got a lot of hope of staying with you for a very long time, even if it does mean the war is ongoing, the duty moves forward, and like he doesn't mind. He likes you. He trusts you to handle him and everyone else just fine. And I think that's very nice of him, considering he's been with all sorts of people. So for him to like give you his approval that he would like to stay with you indefinitely, what an honor. Let's put this away and let me see if the slideshow is broken at that part only, or if it's broken all the way through to the end, which would suck if it is. Oh, now it works. Now that part works. God dang it. Here. Let's move on to the next slide first before I talk about that part. He isn't affected by the gossip swirling around him, whether it's the ones regarding his former master or like the thing with his stay in the Kyogoku clan was like the person that Toyotomi Hideyoshi gave him to. People kind of commented that, oh, well, he's just kind of a favorite. He didn't really deserve to get where he is right now. Nikkari actually discusses this in his Kiwame letter, defending it. Like, he thinks he earned it from their master participated in Sekigahara, and they made it through. So to him, like, that was enough efforts for him to have earned where he is. And personally, he also isn't actually that much affected by, well, he sort of is, he isn't, but it's like, it doesn't weigh on him as heavily or as apparently as the guilt of some other swords would. He doesn't mind the claim that he is impure for having killed an innocent mother and child. To him, all that matters is that he is secure in knowing the truth about himself and the people he cares about. So it's like he's a very confident type of guy. Even though I suppose for a little while in pre-Kiwame, he does seem slightly insecure of it, ever so slightly, but it's like it's not a debilitating thing, unlike, let's say, Fudo and his regrets for not being able to protect Oda Nobunaga and such. Let's switch over. Okay, here, I just included the practically infamous at this point recollection between him and Ishii, where they're talking about why he couldn't become divine or treasured, even though he's an important cultural property at present. And Ishii says it's because he was used to attack a child. But Nikkari's like, well, I can't do anything about that. Which is true. Like, he was only doing what he could as a sword, be good and sharp for his master, regardless of what they use him for. And then, like, Ishii just kind of, like, backtracks and says, like, tries to be encouraging. It's like, honestly, this interaction was very strange to me, like, for a very long time. Because it's like, it feels so unprompted out of Ishii. Like, it's so weird. Like, Ishii, I don't think you get this. Like, it's a bit unfair of him to say this to Nikkari, considering he is, like, an enshrined sword made to, like, pray over and heal people. So it's like, that he drew the good lot compared to Nikkari, and it's kind of rubbing salt in the wound because Aoe swords actually, they actually have a reputation for often being enshrined and used in rituals, much like Ishi is, much like Juzu was and Taro is. So Nikkari doesn't really need any reminders about how awkward in a way his position is as an Aoe sword. So like he's not even, it's not even for a lack of trying. He's definitely trying to make up for things and like just do good by his master. So like, what the hell, Ishi? Tone your words down, man. Don't that's really mean of you. Like for a while I kind of had a little distaste for Ishi because of this, because like that's totally uncalled for, man. Why would you say that? And what's the next part here? Here I included his special Mihotose interaction with Sengo, or rather it's only half a special interaction because the only different lines are the ones from Sengo, but Nikkari's are still the same as his normal ones. Where here you can see Sengo thinks about him and Nikkari being alike, which in a way they are. They have this sort of reputation that swirls around them, and all they could really do is just hold their head up high and like just believe in themselves, like believe in their own truth. And I think a lot about like the second line, like Sengo's being all, I've seen a new world. Like he learned from Nikkari, so like that really just goes to show the things that Nikkari has about himself, the way he strides, the way he handles everyone else. He's just all around a cool guy. Next. Here I included his third Kiwame letter, so look away and mute me if you don't want spoilers, though this has been out for like, I don't know, 5-6 years at this point. So here he talks about how people said the Kyogoku clan didn't deserve him because like he's a famed Aoe sword that could cut down ghosts, and the Kyogoku just got there because of favoritism, yada yada yada. But Nikkari thinks they're all wrong, even though like he isn't so defensive about it. He's just, well, that's your opinion, but you're kind of wrong about it. I have different opinions from you, and his opinions matter to himself more. So there's not much point in arguing. As long as you carry yourself along with those opinions, then you're just gonna prove everyone wrong just by being yourself. I think that's very, very cool of him. He's quite the Chad. And he's trying to like impart this to the Saniwa, saying just do what you gotta do, believe in yourself, and I'll be here to back you up. So he's like kind of like a very ghostly presence in a way. And that's the end of the slide, so we'll put it away. I think I have other slide here. There we go. Beko did actually confirm that his cape-like cloth is the same one worn by Shinto priests and Miko, and also used for the dead, called the Shiro Shozoku. So I think about this like overlap a lot, because obviously since it's put on the dead, it's supposed to allude to the ghost. But if it's also used by Shinto priests and Miko, like in shrines, you know, his whole thing with divinity and stuff, and like the Aoi school's reputation, seems like it could actually be for both things, not just the latter, which is obviously the most apparent one. And I just would like to bring up his sprites for normal and Kiwame, because I really like his design overall, especially the changes between each one. Hang on. I might as well take the moment to drink water while I'm putting these up. And if you guys are shrimping, don't shrimp. Straighten up in your seats, please. So here is his normal one. Oops, there we go. Let's shrink him down a little bit. And I'll pull up his Kiwame one real quick. There we go. Let's just size it up. I just think it's really cool how in these two sprites, his expression only ever changes ever so slightly, but his attire, I think, says a lot about his stance on how he wants to show his confidence in himself, in his master, and his former master, and you as a person. Because in the first one, fashion icon, I know, right? Thank you, Beko Sensei. Nikkari was one of the first swords I got pretty interested in first into Tikirby. I like his vibe. Right. I think at this point, since we have over 100 swords in game now, it's inevitable that there will be some overlaps with personalities, which it's not a bad thing, because in the end, they're still quite distinctive in their vibes, their voices, the in-depth history. So some overlap of like stereotypes, tropes isn't such a bad thing with us. But I think Nikkari has yet to have that kind of comparison to other people, apart from Sengo and the whole bad reputation and the like. Anyway, as you can see in his normal one, he only ever has like his crest is very small here on the side, and like here's like the Yotsuimon. Like they're just very small pieces. It's hard not to be biased for Beko Sensei's taste when it's just this good. Him and Choson, like, can't go wrong with that. So back to Nikkari. His identity in the first one, he's more marked by the white cloth rather than his crest and his associations with his masters than anything, compared to the Kiwame one, where he has his entire motive blazoned right on the very front of his shirt, his outfit top to bottom, which is so beautiful. It's a breakdown of the crest, and it even combines the willows, the Star Night, water, mist. I like to think Sengo is playful to not play into the rumors about him, while Nikkari is playful that plays into the rumors because he's a bit more confident in himself. Yeah, actually, because Sengo does seem like sometimes he feels like he's overcompensating almost, like he plays into it a little too hard, so like people stop prodding into it, like okay, he's being weird about it, let's just not talk about it. But Nikkari's like, okay, keep talking, go on, let's hear what you wanna say about me. He's got that kind of vibe. It's very cool. I love these two so much. Okay, so the willow bits also appear in his case, so like let's switch this one to his case, so real quick. See, like this is also willows. I actually had to call Kaze in for backup to confirm, because like I'm very bad with plant motifs and the like. I'm never confident whether I'm getting it right or wrong. Anyway, he has a lot of willow motifs because it's traditionally associated with spirituality and ghosts. There's even a saying that willows basically manifest or attract ghosts into the area if it's there. So there's also the thing which we actually just discussed earlier. Thank you so much, Kaze, for the last minute help with additional things to discuss here. In Chinese interpretation, Kanon Bosatsu, also known as Kh'nvinien in Chinese, is generally seen with a willow branch, a lotus flower, and a water vase. The willow is used to heal people's illnesses or grant wishes, while the water is for removing suffering, purification, and longevity. So those two is important because, like I mentioned, the swirly bits on his outfit, this is either mist or water, depending how you want to look at it, but considering how it's laid out, like stars here, then willows, it's probably water. And then like the ghost down the bottom with the Yotsuimon. Just, damn it, Beko, I would like an apprenticeship with you. Anyway, so it's all of this comes together as like showing that Nikkari really does have a sense of compassion to him. He's kind, and he's just very, very subtle about it. You could even say ghostly. And I think I didn't include screen caps of it here. But in his fireworks lines, he actually has like very nice and sweet wishes over the fireworks. He's like wishing for nice weather, like nice and calm and pleasant weather, nice springtime, and he even reassures the Saniwa that take it from me, someone who's usually he says that usually swords are the ones being prayed to, so it's kind of weird that now him as a token Danshi is able to wish on fireworks instead. Then he also comments, well, take it from me, I've taken a lot of wishes before in my time, and I do think yours will be answered. So it's like he's just always there for you. Like if you in the moment, you're very likely to miss what he's trying to tell you, because he's just like, oh, okay. And like, I think he's fine with that. Like, he doesn't need to be at the forefront of it all. As long as he says what he needs to say, then that's enough for him. Like, it's up to you if you catch on to his drift, or if not, well, the point is he still said it, so he doesn't have much regrets with it, I would imagine. And let's flip over to his awakenings. Let's pull those up. So this is his original one, and this is his Kiwame one. So as usual, same pose, but I think a lot about how you would probably miss that his expression changes here. Like, I don't really know what to say about why that would be. Kiwame one goes hard. I know, like, Nikkari is just, he's perfect. Like, he's got a great story, he's got a great design, not to mention he has a hot lady with him. Like, can't go wrong. He's just so good. So I don't know, I just think a lot about how his expression changes. In the original one, he's serious, kind of showing you he means business, which is fine. Like, that makes sense. It's a do or die situation. Yeah, it is. Like, right, that's so cool, right? That the red is from the ghost. So he wasn't always an odd eye. And it makes you think about, did he, like, it's as if, to me, he allowed the spirit to, like, come along with him, because, like, they're basically intertwined at this point. And it's funny because we mentioned that he has willow motifs, right? Just earlier, me and Kaze, like, kind of realized he's kind, like, his hair is green, and the way his hair falls kind of almost willowy in nature too. I should have saved a picture of a willow tree just to show you the comparison. So it's almost like, since willow trees are associated with ghosts, it's as if he's the new tree for the ghost to, like, manifest around and just give them a little home. So he's in a way, like, since he's inhabited by a spirit, he's kind of divine in his own way, wouldn't you think? So he's just vibing with the little ghost lady. They seem to be getting along just fine. And I don't know, he's just hot. Like, I should have gotten his lines, but I do remember that his lines in between these two, the first one is definitely more serious, more aggressive, which, again, there's a lot to think about there. And for here, he's just showing you that, think what you want, he's just here to get his job done. And I don't know, I could just stare at him for hours. Nikkari's such a huge fave. Yeah. Like, just, that's a lot of responsibility and, like, weight on him almost, to be a sword that's being said to be simultaneously too good for his owners for being so good. Should I cut you down like a stone lantern? Hell yeah. Where was I? Like, people would say he's too good for his owners, but then at the same time, like, he gets comments about being impure or whatever because he's got a ghost with him. But then it's also weird because when he stayed with the Kyogoku, the castle they stayed at, like, I think it might have been Marugame Castle actually. It was said to be cursed or haunted until he showed up. Then after that, like, the ghost just like kind of stopped bothering anyone. So it's like, which one do you want to say Nikkari is? But I guess the point is he could be both. He doesn't really care which one you want to say he is. He is himself. He will do what he has to, which is serve his master faithfully and do right by them. At least leave this world with a smile on face. Oh, that's chilling. God, Nikkari, why are you so cool? Those lines are so good. Like, I don't know, I'm just speechless. Like, he's so intimidating when he wants to be. Like, he always talks about, like, especially the PvP lines, like, he generally says in either one that, well, you better take this seriously because I am, and I might just kill you if you're loafing around. Like, Jesus. I just imagine him saying he was talking to a ghost in the hall and no one can tell if he is joking or not. Knowing him, you really wouldn't be able to tell because, like, you mean your ghost? So, like, who knows? Is it my ghost? Or did he find another ghost that he's making friends with? Anyway, this wasn't... I didn't have a crest section for the San Meso, mostly because... well, the Yari stream. Because there was 5 of them and it would have taken too much time. But since this is a stream dedicated to Nikkari, we could talk about his crest here because it's also just... Again, everything about him is perfect down to the crest. Like, look at this. It's so dense with detail and yet so easily readable. It's in the diamond silhouette, resembling the Yotsui Yuimon. It features the ghost in the middle, surrounded by mist or water, which one you want to pick, framed on the lower half by a split stone lantern, which that's my favorite part of this, because if you didn't know what you were looking at, you wouldn't think that it was a stone lantern split in half, because it's just so aesthetically pleasing that the context, whether it's there or not, doesn't take away from how appealing it just ties everything together. Like, the way it just weighs everything down, it anchors things together. It's like I mentioned, even though let's pull up his sprites again. Like, if you see in the sprites, it's no, not this one. If you look at his sprites, it's like very small detail and it's in a single gold color too. But you can easily read it, like, despite all that. So that's impressive design to me. So, like, I think I mentioned this in the Sword Crest stream, but like, one of the hard things about designing crests for like OCs and like Saniwa, or even just other characters in general, the ones I make, one of the hardest things is like trying to balance the amount of detail you're able to put in, and yet making sure it still serves its purpose as an insignia, a logo of sorts, even at small sizes. Because if it doesn't do that, then it's kind of a failure of a design, in my opinion. Love him, yeah, gotta love him. Let's put this away. And to me, the heavy detail also just kind of adds to like that mysterious nighttime vibe, uncertainty of what you're seeing in front of you. Because like, if you kind of squint, things start to blur together, and again, smaller sizes, but it's still there. Like, there's lots to think about. I kind of wonder if he was also a favorite by the team in some way, because I just think none of his design points miss in the slightest. Because I mean, overall, in the end, I still think Tokonanbo's designs all hit very, very hard in their own ways. Like, I think it's unfair to kind of compare them to one another because they tell different stories and they're done by different artists. And, well, some of them are vaguer than others, so it's kind of unfair to compare them to someone with more info as opposed to otherwise. But, I don't know, Nikkari has given me nothing to complain about. Because, like, I think I've mentioned this in passing, like, the Mike Bros designs, so Sohaya and Odenta, they took a while to grow on me at first, because it's like, I don't know, there was just something about it that didn't click with me at first. It took me so long to warm up to them, but now I like them. But point is, I didn't immediately love it as much as I did with Nikkari, despite the fact that his first one is just there's not a whole lot of detail to this compared to other swords, like let's say Horikawa. Horikawa definitely at his Ubu form has more detail than this, and yet I was so drawn to Nikkari. Him and his high boots, which get even higher in Komame. Like, it's just a wonderful balance of subtlety and like drawing you in, and like the gold motifs that match the ones on his scabbard. Like, I guess it's just beating the dead horse at this point, but I don't know. I feel like Nikkari deserves way more, and actually, I'm so sad I didn't find the time to watch Nikkari Tanki, the solo performance for him in the musicals, because I knew it was probably gonna give me something insightful and like mind-blowing to talk about, but I didn't have the time. I tried. It took quite a while for me to warm up to Nikkari's design. See, like, I don't know, it's different for everyone, so like it's quite a journey going through the boys. Mostly because I dislike that kind of heterochromia. It takes me a while to recognize when I have a problem with green hair. I just, yeah, see, like here, like, those are very valid reasons, which is like hilariously the opposite of why I like him so much. It's because I'm just fond of green haired characters. I like green. I'm gonna eat him. So, anyway, I wish I was able to watch Nikkari Tanki, because I was also graciously supplied with a way to watch it recently too, so kind of feel bad that I took the opportunity, or rather I was given the opportunity and didn't manage to take it in time for the stream. So like maybe I'll write a post about him some other time on Twitter. Like maybe I'll put it on Fusetter so it's longer. About what I feel about him after I watch it, because I really did try, you guys. I tried to watch it in bed while I was resting. I couldn't focus. I really wanted to pay attention, but then my brain just shut down. It was falling asleep, and I felt so bad because it wasn't as if I found it boring. I was just tired. I'm so sad. I'm so sorry, Nikkari. So, in conclusion, I think Nikkari is cool. His seemingly double-meaning statements shouldn't be a reason to miss out on his unwavering loyalty and belief in the Sanwa. And he's an absolute gem in Hanamaru and Miyotose, or just in the Muse in general. I kind of wish he was in the more recent performances, honestly, but the actor Araki Hirofumi is actually quite busy himself. Like, he does a lot of other stuff apart from Tomio, which is good. Like, jobs for people is good, but so I was like, I miss Nikkari. I miss him every day. And I hope isn't there like discussion amongst us that the fox boy that we still don't have, like the one that showed up in the Great Invasion, is probably an Aoe? Like, I hope they are an Aoe, just so I have excuse to hope for the fact that maybe we'll get more Nikkari content. I don't know, like, just inter-school interactions are very interesting to me. So yeah, I hope he comes back soon. Like, we didn't get a Great Invasion rerun, which makes sense because it's kind of weird to rerun an invasion, which was especially since they made it out to be very, very pivotal to the plot and the like. So yeah, that's all we've got to say about Nikkari. Thank you so much for sticking around with me. This is certainly a shorter stream compared to my other things. I mean, like, 1 hour spent here with me is by no means short. I really do appreciate it when you guys come and stick around. Yearly invasion. just a yearly scheduled invasion. Like, oh no, whatever shall I do? My gates are open. I guess we're getting invaded again for another time. Anyway, so this was a lot of fun. Like, my love for Nikkari, it managed to increase. All according to plan. Like, that's really just all seriousness though. That's the goal for all these streams. I just want to sit here and talk about the boys and hopefully find newfound perspectives on them for myself and for you guys. So I really appreciate that you guys stick around and talk. And about plans for next streams is, like, while we're here anyway, I did mention that I might do some here we're gonna talk about my my plans, since we've got lots of times anyway. Lots of time still, rather. It's still quite early. I definitely do intend to make more streams in the future. Like, I don't know if it's too ambitious for my energy to say I want to aim for at least 1 a month. Like, I think I could do that, but I also have a day job. And like, I have very little spoons these days, but my sword love is strong, so maybe we'll push through. So I will make no promises, but I do want to say I really would like to make this a more regular thing. And if I had to name a sword I'd like to talk about next, like as early as next month, maybe Dodanuki? You guys up for me blabbing about our little man Dodanuki? Because as you guys know, he's another favorite. Like, I could also talk about Yamabushi, but I think I need more time to like gather all my thoughts about Yamabushi, because Yamabushi is an ocean, you guys. Like, there's so much about him. There's so much tiny nuances. Like, I don't want to rush into it. Dodanuki is I'm not saying he's shallow in comparison, but it's just easier to digest because like he's not as religiously themed as Yamabushi. So you made me love him years ago. I'm so proud of that. Yeah, tell me more. No, really, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm glad these days that the atmosphere in the swamps changed to be a bit more receptive to guys like him and not just the pretty boys. Not saying it's bad to have a preference for pretty boys, but like Totanuki's very, very cool in his own right, even if he is kind of big manly man that's not very tall and like just kind of a dude, but like that's the point. He's a juxtaposition to all the pretty guys we have in the Citadel. The Danuki requires less theological training. I know. Like, I remember I fell into a rabbit hole of like I think I was just trying to research on what his Yamabushi's headdress was called, and then like I fell into a rabbit hole of like reading about the sex and stuff, and like I didn't retain any of it, but it was fun. I didn't retain any of it. Anyway, yeah. We're gonna do Dodanuki next. Hopefully as early as next month, and we'll see how things go from there. I do really want to get the ball rolling and make this sort of a series in a way. And if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. And again, I can be coerced with money to bump your boy up in the list. Like, if you drop by my coffee and drop me $10, you can make your boy a VIP in my list. But like, I do want to get through as many boys as I can, regardless of whether I'm asked to or not. Like, I don't know, like, swords are good. Like, I want to learn more about the swords for myself as well, because like, everyone has their biases, so I know more about these guys off the top of my head compared to other swords, like, let's say maybe Shishio or like the Shinshan Gumi swords. But I want to get through them. I want to talk more about them and like just try and appreciate everyone as much as possible, both as like for the characters and for the efforts that the developers put into them, because this franchise means so much to me, and I'm sure it does for you guys as well. Akashi is my bias and still know so little about him. He's like, I can't blame you, because Akashi just makes it really hard to know him. Like, he's like, I actually really adore him too. Like, I just can't talk about him much because, yeah, like, he has so many secrets behind those glasses, and it's kind of frustrating, honestly. we should really try to like piece together Akashi together sometime. Like, I think I remember discussing this on the timeline with Strife, like when his Kiwama just came out, and we're like, oh well, that didn't really add too much now, did it? Then it was that one line. It's always the damn breaking line that that breaks your perception of swords sometimes. Like, that was it for Akashi. Like, well, you can't just leave it at that. Like, what do you mean that's it? Like, I need more context. Akashi also requires theological training. Damn it! Like, the world is time's a flat circle. My dad took up theology, and now I'm taking up theology, except not in the way that anyone would expect me to. The hopeful thought that we were gonna learn about him with Kiwami, and Akashi was just like, Aruchi, I got new droop. He got new droop and stopped slouching slightly. Like, he's standing straight a bit more. But apart from that, go boy, give us nothing. Why are you giving us nothing? But yeah, Todanuki soon maybe. And after that, I might as well just complete the Sakurai Trinity and go for Yamabushi if we're ready. Which, God, 2 months from now? I am not sure about that. I'm not sure. I wish I were, but it'll happen when it happens. And anyway, anything else to say, everyone? Like, I'm all out of words. I'm about to say my goodbyes and like thank yous again for like dropping by here. Like, it really means so much to me that you guys ceaselessly, consistently come around to hang out with me. Cause, you know, I just do this for fun. Like, I just wanna talk freely and hang out with you guys. So the fact that both birds are hit with that one stone of streaming makes me really happy. It's something I've looked forward to all month. The month's been rough and all, so just getting to sit down here, blab with everyone, good, refreshing. I miss you guys so much. Still honestly adore the Ghost Story episode of Hanamaru. I know, it's so good. Like, I would say I didn't quite expect that out of Hanamaru, but it's like, it really holds up, because I don't know, it's like a very good one-shot somehow. But yeah, if there's nothing else to be said, thank you so much for being here. Once again, if you guys wanna come back to this or any of my other streams, I never delete any of my streams. All of them are archived on my YouTube channel. So like, hit subscribe so you don't miss any announcements, or well, not announcements, like scheduled streams, and maybe impromptu streams of like silly stuff like playing games or like pulling the gacha or whatever. Nikkari is the best boy. Thanks for listening. Thank you so much, and have a good day, good evening. Make sure to stay hydrated and pat Nikkari on the head for me. Goodbye, everyone. Bye bye. See you again sometime, and see you on the timeline. I'll be around hopefully more often nowadays. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm saying extra bye bye so the latency doesn't get to me. Bye.